are ready to cast on. We've done our swatch, we have all our supplies. I am going to cast on. I'm on a 32-inch long cord with my interchangeable needles. I like long tail cast on, but feel free to use any type of cast on. We're set up and ready to do our upper back increase rows. What that looks like is you're going to knit 2, slip the marker, knit this stitch, then go into the stitch you've just knitted. You want to go 2 down, so not the one directly under the needle, but the one below that. Come from behind and scoop up the right arm, or sorry, the left arm, and knit into the back of it. It's called a knit through the left loop. So you want to come from behind and scoop up the left arm. All right, so here I am with one stitch before my marker, and this is a KAL, or a knit through the right loop. And this one you are going to go right below the needle because we haven't knitted this stitch yet. So we're working on the stitch just below the needle. You scoop up the right arm from behind, put it up on the needle, and knit it. Then you knit the stitch, slip the marker, and knit the last 2 stitches. That's the KAL. So those are the increases that happen on right side rows. And then on the wrong side, so slip the marker and purl. And then again, because you've worked this stitch, you're going to go back into it. You're not directly under the needle. You're the stitch below that. And you just find that bump, not the first one, the second one down. Come from underneath and scoop it up and just purl that. And that's your PLL, purl through left loop. All right, so here I am, one stitch before the marker. And in this one, again, you are working in the stitch just below the one on the needle. And you're going to scoop up the head of the stitch below. And when you put it on the needle, if you slip it on, if you twist it as you slip it on, so in other words, take your left needle and put it through the front of that stitch as you pass it over to your left needle. And now you can just get your yarn to the front and purl that stitch. Just purl it normally. That is a PRL, then purl the increase stitch. And those are your increases. You're going to go back and forth, right side, wrong side, and do those increases on each row. I have finished the little upper back. The other thing I want to say is this is a good place to recheck your gauge. I actually used my olive wood needles and I felt like I was getting a little bit tight at the beginning, so I switched to metal needles, which for me makes me loosen up a bit. These are also a little bit more dull, and that's what I like to use when I have a yarn that tends to split easily. This is a very loose one ply, and with sharper needles, I'm more likely to split the yarn. Again, these are Addy Clicks I love. A couple things to watch out for. This is a good place to figure out the type of needle you want to use and your gauge. At any rate, I'm set. I'm happy with this. And so I'm going to cut my yarn. And the next thing we're going to do is prep the collar. So here is the little back collar piece. I've prepped the right collar, and to show you where this is going to go, take your little upper back piece and lay it out so that the original cast on is up on the top. That is the back neck, and so this is going to be where this little collar that you've prepped is going to sit. And you can just take a little clip of some sort and just roughly clip that, and maybe that's going to help you figure out what the heck is going on here, because this is eventually going to get seamed right across the back top of the neck. So now we've got it oriented. We are going to pick up our stitches on the right shoulder here and then carry right on and knit across the collar stitches, and that's going to get everything all joined up. And for my size, I need to knit across 18 stitches. So I found 19, that's fine. I need to knit 2 together once. I'll probably just knit these last 2 together. And I like to knit each one through the back loop. It doesn't matter, they're not really oriented one way or the other. I find it easier to just get in through the back, knit each one through the back loop. And now, because I've got this clipped for myself, I can see right where I need to go, continuing on to the right collar pieces. I'm going to knit 2 together. That's in the pattern. Tells you what to do. Knit 2 together and then carry on across. There we go. We're joined, and now we're going to create this little right shoulder. Here we are with, for my size, I needed to do 18 rows total. So I finished that. Also, what I wanted to show you here is, this is the little right shoulder now with the collar attached. This does not run across the top of your shoulder. It runs down your back. And the way you can see that is to join your live stitches. If you just fold this, line up your live stitches. Now you can start to see how that join runs down the back of your shoulder. It doesn't sit up on top. That gets you from that point up and over the top of your shoulder. And if you feel that you are a deep person, so we take up space width-wise. We also take up space depth-wise. So if you feel like you are broad-shouldered and thicker on top, there's no reason you couldn't do more rows here. This will not affect anything else. If you just feel like you take up more room getting from that sort of back of your shoulder up over the top of your shoulder, if you'd rather have a bit more ease in the shoulder in that direction, feel free to do more rows there. And now the next thing is, we're going to go down here and finish the collar going the other direction. We're ready to join everything. And so what we did was the little upper back, and then we prepped the right collar, joined it in, and worked the right shoulder and collar. Prepped the left collar, joined it in with the left shoulder, and I've worked that, and now I'm ready to come all the way around and join everything. This is a corner. It can be a little hard to knit around a corner. So this is where the pattern will tell you to use magic loop if you need to. And all that means is pull a loop out of your knitting cord, and that makes it easier to knit around a corner. All right, so now we are ready for row 2 of section 3, which is place markers. So there we are. Markers are placed, and what you want to look for is if you have incorrect stitch counts, that's fine. You just need to know where they are. So you want to make sure that your markers line up. You can see how there is the side, and sure enough, that's correct, because there is the side edge, and then the sleeve stitches jut out from the side edge of that. The back stitch, the last back stitch, should line right up with that line that comes down, and then separate that from the sleeve stitches. So if your markers are off somewhere, this is how to find out where the stitch count is wrong. Again, this stitch belongs to the back, and then these stitches should clearly be jutting straight out of the side of the edge, the edge of the front, and then this edge stitch should line right up. There's the marker, and that's correct. This has your stitches all ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is fill out the worksheet.